everyone. My name is Gray. I'm the dietitian and health coach with MLK Health Center and Pharmacy. When I'm preparing for these videos, I will frequently look for maybe some of the current trends that are going on in the health and wellness world. And one that I came across recently that piqued my interest for sure is this shift right now from just focusing on our sleep to focusing on our circadian health. Which may not make a ton of sense, but another way to think about that is that we're kind of obsessed with tracking our sleep, especially here in the US. We have smartphone apps, smart watches, all of these different gadgets to track our sleep. So we're essentially observing our sleep more than we ever have before, but we're not necessarily sleeping better. So we may see in the morning, all right, we slept however many hours, the sleep quality was so-so, but we're not really doing anything to improve our sleep quality. And that's reflected in the data. So a third of US adults are not sleeping enough. And what that essentially means is that they're sleeping less than 7 hours a night. So ideally, we want to be sleeping 7 to 8 hours to really get the full benefits from that sleep. If we're sleeping less than that, then we're at an increased risk for things like heart disease, diabetes, stroke, depression, even things like arthritis. So sleep is really important. So to improve our sleep, essentially what we need to do is zoom out from that 8-hour window when we're ideally sleeping and really look at the full 24 hours at things that we can do throughout the day to help improve our sleep at night. So a key thing here is getting our light right. So what I mean by that is, hundreds and hundreds of years ago when we were hunters and gatherers, we were very heavily influenced by the sun. And if we look at the sun, in the morning it's spitting out these blue light waves, and those go into our eyeballs and tell our brain and our nervous system it's morning time. It's time to wake up, it's time to go, it's time to be productive. And then in the evening, the sun is putting out more red light waves. So those are very calming. It's telling our brain and nervous system it's time to wind down, it's time to settle. So having that light exposure throughout the day and those balance of blue and red light waves helped control when we were awake and active and energized and when we were tired and ready to go to sleep. So really we need to balance out that sun exposure and that light exposure to help our sleep at night. So there are a few ways that we can do this. One is getting outside, because when we're exposed to sunlight, exposed to that natural light, that's going to help balance that out. But another part of this too is really watching our electronic usage, because unfortunately, all of our electronics, our TVs, our laptops, our phones, they're all spitting out blue light waves, those morning time waves, which tell our brain it's time to wake up. So really our light exposure is pretty whacked out right now because we spend a lot of time indoors, we're constantly on electronics, and then we have bright artificial lights on at night. We're looking at our phones right up until we go to sleep. That's really going to affect our sleep. So trying to have lots of bright light during the day, electronics during the day, that's okay. But then once the sun goes down, try to dim the house lights, limit electronics, even get a pair of blue light blocking glasses to help mimic the sun's natural cycle. And that's going to help a lot with sleep. Something else you can do as well, getting outside, as I talked about, that's going to help. You also want to kind of keep your activity for daytime hours. So try to get your exercise in whenever the sun is out. You also want to get most of your meals in, all your meals if you can, while the sun is out as well. So people ask, well, what time can I, or should I stop eating at night? Follow the sun. So once the sun goes down or shortly thereafter is usually when you want to try to limit or cut off your food intake to give your body time to wind down and sleep. Something else that you can do is to keep cool in the evening. That's going to improve your sleep because keeping that temperature regulated can make sure you're not waking up because you're too hot. And then a final thing that you can do is just to be careful of the stimulants that you're having. The most common is going to be caffeine. So you want to make sure that you're not drinking caffeinated coffees or teas or energy drinks all throughout the day into the afternoon and evening, because that's going to just mess things up a little bit. If you're going to have caffeine, try to keep it before noon. So in the morning time when you're already kind of riding that circadian wave up to channel that morning time energy and then let it wean off so that way you can wind down and get to sleep at night. So I know this is kind of technical, a little complicated, but really I think that what this boils down to is just following the sun and doing things to mimic kind of the things that we normally see in nature. And that's going to help a lot to improve our sleep. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, I hope this was helpful. Please try to implement some of these things if you're having trouble sleeping. If you have interest in other nutrition or wellness videos, please check out our YouTube channel.